Welcome to our dip dive into the 2025 Honda Goldwing Tour motorcycles. I know you're interested in this legendary machine, especially since it's celebrating a huge milestone, 50 years on the road. To help us navigate this world of luxury touring, we've got the official Honda brochure, hot off the presses. So are you ready to explore what's new and exciting about this iconic bike?
Absolutely. And I think it's worth noting that Honda isn't just celebrating the past with this new model, they're also pushing the boundaries of what a touring motorcycle can be.
Okay, let's start with the star of the show, the 50th anniversary edition. This isn't just any Goldwing, it comes with exclusive graphics that'll turn heads wherever you go. And check this out, even the instrument display has a unique startup sequence that pays homage to the Goldwing's history.
It's those little touches that really appeal to collectors and longtime fans of the Goldwing. You're not just buying a motorcycle, you're getting a piece of history.
Right. And speaking of history, let's not forget that the Goldwing has always been about pushing the limits of comfort and performance. This year, they've introduced a brand new feature that's going to change the game for touring motorcycles, the double-wishbone front suspension.
That's right. And while it might sound technical, what it really means for you is a smoother ride.
Yeah.
Especially on those long hauls. It's like they took the suspension from a high-end sports car and adapted it for a motorcycle.
So you get that sleek, sporty look combined with incredible handling. I'm already picturing myself leaning into those curves with confidence.
Here's something else that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That new suspension design actually moves the front wheel closer to the rider. You might not think it makes a big difference, but it optimizes your position on the bike and gives you a better feel for the road.
I can definitely see how that would translate into a more comfortable and connected riding experience. Speaking of comfort, let's dive into the heart of the Goldwing, that powerful engine.
You're talking about an 1833cc six-cylinder engine, which might sound intimidating, but trust me, it's all about smooth power delivery. And here's the kicker. Even though it's packing all that power, this engine is actually lighter than previous generations.
Wait, lighter? How did they manage that?
It's a testament to Honda's engineering prowess. They've managed to shave off weight without sacrificing performance, which means you get that iconic Goldwing power, but with potentially better fuel economy.
Now that's what I call a win-win. You get to enjoy those exhilarating rides without constantly worrying about stopping for gas.
Exactly. And speaking of making life easier, Honda offers this engine with two transmission options. The classic 6-speed manual for those who like to be in control, and their dual clutch transmission, or DCT, which basically gives you automatic shifting.
Okay, for someone who might not be familiar with DCT, can you explain what makes it so special?
Sure. Imagine this, you're cruising down the highway, and instead of having to worry about shifting gears, the bike does it for you seamlessly. It's incredibly smooth and makes those long rides even more effortless.
So DCT is like having a personal chauffeur for your motorcycle.
You could say that. It takes care of the technical stuff so you can focus on enjoying the scenery in the open road.
Man, that sounds like my kind of riding. But before we get too carried away with the open road, let's break down the different Goldwing Tour models available for 2025.
All right, let's do it. We've already talked about the special 50th anniversary edition, which is sure to be a collector's item. But there are two other models to consider, the Goldwing Tour and the Goldwing Tour Automatic DCT.
So essentially, you can choose between the manual transmission and the DCT, depending on your preference. And what about colors? Are we sticking with the classic gold, or are there other options?
Well, of course, they have the stunning Eternal Gold, which is a perfect fit for the anniversary year. But they've also introduced two new colors to the lineup, Bordeaux Red Metallic and Light Silver Metallic.
I'm already picturing that Bordeaux Red Metallic gleaming in the sunlight. It's like a fine wine on wheels.
Yeah.
But tell me, are all the colors available for each model, or are there some restrictions?
That's a great question, and it's one we'll definitely need to clarify as we go deeper into the brochure. There might be some limitations based on the model and trim level you choose.
Got it. So we've got our special edition, our engine options, and a beautiful palette of colors. What else is hiding in this brochure?
Well, it's packed with all sorts of technical specifications and details about each model. But let's not just get bogged down in numbers. We're going to break it all down for you and explain what those specs actually mean for your riding experience.
Sounds good to me. I'm ready to get into the nitty-gritty and see what makes these 2025 Goldwing Tour motorcycles tick.
And I'm ready to help you connect the dots between those technical details and the thrill of being on the open road. After all, that's what it's all about, right?
Absolutely. So let's shift gears and dive into those specs. We'll be back right after this quick break to unpack all the exciting features that Honda has packed into these machines. Stay tuned.
All right, let's jump back into those specs you mentioned. One thing that caught my eye was the 6-speed transmission. Now you might be thinking, what's so special about that? But here's the thing, it includes an overdrive gear, which is designed for those long stretches on the highway.
So it's all about making those highway miles more enjoyable.
Exactly. With overdrive, you can cruise at higher speeds while keeping the engine revs lower, which translates to a smoother, quieter ride. And as a bonus, it can also improve your fuel efficiency.
That definitely sounds appealing for those cross-country adventures. Speaking of making life easier on the road, the brochure also mentions an electric reverse feature.
You know, it's funny you should mention that. While I think it's a fantastic feature, especially on a bike as substantial as the Goldwing, it's not something you find on every touring motorcycle.
So having that electric reverse is a big plus for the Goldwing.
Absolutely. Imagine you're fully loaded with gear. Maybe you've even got a passenger on the back, and you need to maneuver this big beauty out of a tight spot. That's where the electric reverse comes in handy. No more struggling or awkward pushing, just hit a button and glide right out.
That's got to be a game changer for those crowded parking lot situations. You know, while we're talking about convenient features, I have to ask about the walking mode I saw mentioned in the brochure. What exactly is that and how does it work?
Walking mode. It's one of those features that sounds a bit gimmicky at first, but it can actually be quite useful in certain situations. Essentially, it allows you to slowly move the bike forward or backward using just the engine, without having to use the throttle or clutch.
So it's almost like having power steering for parking.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
It's especially helpful when you're trying to navigate tight spaces or if you need to inch the bike forward on uneven ground. Think of it as a little extra help for those moments when you don't want to wrestle with a heavy motorcycle.
Okay, that makes sense. But is walking mode only available on certain models?
Good question. Walking mode is actually only available on the models equipped with the DCT transmission.
So if you opt for that automatic shifting, you also get this handy parking assist feature. That's pretty cool. You know, as we're going through these specs and features, it's clear that Honda has put a lot of thought into both performance and practicality. But what about the riding experience itself? How do those technical details translate to the feeling of being on the open road?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And unfortunately, it's not something a brochure can truly capture. But based on what we've seen so far, I think it's safe to say that the 2025 Goldwing Tour is designed to deliver a refined, comfortable, and engaging riding experience.
So it's more than just a collection of impressive specs. It's about how those specs work together to create a symphony of power handling and comfort.
Precisely. And I think that's what sets the Goldwing apart from other touring motorcycles. It's not just about getting from point A to point B, it's about enjoying every moment of the journey.
Okay, but let's get real for a second. How does the riding experience differ between the standard model with the manual transmission and the DCT model? Are there noticeable differences in the way they handle or perform?
That's a great question, and one that often comes up in discussions about motorcycles with different transmission options. You know, while some riders swear by the feeling of control and engagement you get from a manual transmission, others prefer the convenience and smoothness of an automatic.
So it really comes down to personal preference.
To a large extent, yes. But there are some objective differences to consider. For example, the DCT models tend to be slightly heavier than their manual counterparts due to the additional components of the transmission system.
So that weight difference could potentially impact handling, especially at lower speeds.
It's possible, but we'd have to get some real-world feedback from riders to know for sure. However, it's worth noting that Honda engineers are known for their meticulous attention to detail, so I'm confident they've taken steps to minimize any negative effects of that added weight.
Okay, that makes sense. But I'm still curious about the overall feel of the ride. Does the DCT change the character of the Goldwing in any significant way?
That's a tough one to answer without actually getting some seat time on both models. But I can say this. The DCT is designed to be incredibly smooth and responsive, so it shouldn't detract from the Goldwing's inherent capabilities.
So it's not about sacrificing performance for convenience.
Or at all. It's more about offering riders a different way to experience the Goldwing, one that might be more appealing to those who prioritize comfort and ease of use.
So whether you choose the manual or the DCT, you're still getting a Goldwing through and through.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, it's all about finding the right fit for your riding style and preferences.
Well said. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here, from engine specs and suspension features to transmission options and even walking mode. But there's one crucial aspect we haven't touched on yet, the technology integrated into the 2025 Goldwing Tour. And I have to say, I'm pretty excited to dive into this part of the brochure.
You and me both. The Goldwing has always been at the forefront of motorcycle technology, and this year's model is no exception. So buckle up, because we're about to explore the digital side of this iconic machine.
All right, let's do it. We'll be back right after this quick break to unravel the tech wonders that await us in the 2025 Goldwing Tour. Don't go anywhere. All right, let's talk tech. I'm always eager to see what new gadgets and gizmos Honda has packed into the Goldwing.
Well, they certainly haven't disappointed this year. The 2025 Goldwing Tour is loaded with features that enhance both convenience and entertainment on the road.
The brochure mentions Apple CarPlay, which is pretty much a must-have these days. I can't imagine hitting the open road without my favorite playlists and navigation apps.
It's become an essential part of the modern riding experience, hasn't it? And the Goldwing integrates it seamlessly, allowing you to control everything through the bike's infotainment system.
So no more fumbling with your phone while you're trying to navigate those winding back roads?
Exactly. It's all about keeping your focus on the road and enjoying a safe and enjoyable ride. But Apple CarPlay is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the Goldwing's tech features.
Okay, spill the beans. What other tech goodies are we talking about?
Well, for starters, the Goldwing comes standard with a premium sound system that will make those long rides feel like a concert on wheels.
Now that's what I call a road trip essential. But is it just a good sound system, or is there something more to it?
It's not just about volume, it's about clarity and precision. Honda has partnered with some of the top audio brands to create a system that delivers an immersive sound experience. You'll feel like you're right in the middle of the music.
I'm already picturing myself cruising down the highway wind and my hair music filling my soul. It doesn't get much better than that. But let's talk about safety for a moment. Does the Goldwing offer any advanced rider assistance systems?
That's a crucial aspect of any modern motorcycle, and Honda hasn't overlooked it. The 2025 Goldwing Tour does indeed come equipped with some impressive safety tech, but the specific features vary depending on the model and trim level you choose.
Okay, so we might need to dig a little deeper into the brochure to get all the details, but can you give us a general overview of what kind of safety tech we can expect?
Absolutely. One of the standout features is Honda's selectable torque control, which helps to maintain traction and stability, especially on slippery surfaces. It's like having an extra set of eyes watching out for you.
So it gives you that added peace of mind knowing that the bike is working with you to keep you safe.
Exactly. And for those who opt for the top-of-the-line Goldwing Tour airbag, automatic DCT, you'll also get the added protection of an airbag system. It's a groundbreaking feature that can significantly reduce the risk of injury in a collision.
That's a game changer for motorcycle safety. It's great to see Honda pushing the boundaries in this area. But, beyond the specs and features, there's something special about the Goldwing community.
You're absolutely right. It's not just a motorcycle, it's a lifestyle. Goldwing riders are a passionate bunch, and they share a deep appreciation for the open road and the camaraderie that comes with it.
I've heard stories about these epic cross-country trips and rallies where Goldwing riders come together from all over the world. It sounds like an incredible experience.
It really is. And it's something that goes beyond just riding a motorcycle. It's about forging connections, sharing stories, and creating memories that will last a lifetime.
That's the beauty of motorcycles, isn't it? They bring people together in a way that few other things can.
Couldn't agree more. So if you're considering a 2025 Goldwing Tour, know that you're not just buying a machine, you're joining a community.
Well said. This deep dive has been a blast, and I'm sure our listener is now itching to experience the 2025 Goldwing Tour for themselves.
I hope so. And I have a feeling that this is just the beginning of their Goldwing journey.
So to our listener, we say get out there, explore the open road, and embrace the spirit of the Goldwing. Happy riding, and as always, ride safe. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.